Alright, so before I go to dinner, I just wanted to do one last video on Silent Hill today, one last off the cuff, and that is analyzing the worst Silent Hill theories we've ever heard in our entire history of being a Silent Hill fan. Let's get it, and let's start off with the first comment. This subreddit will be in the description below, and I thought it would be very interesting to cover this. The first theory is Walter Sullivan in Silent Hill 4 The Room became evil because his dick was circumcised, so therefore they got rid of the two foreskins and now he's bad. What? Okay, so I've heard of the circumcision theory before, and I thought it was just as crazy that a real human being came to this assessment and didn't really pay any attention to what was going on in the story. I guess they saw the umbilical cord in Frank Sullivan's room and just thought maybe they circumcised him too and put the other side of flesh next to the umbilical cord, and that's why he's pretty angry at the world. So that's not the case at all. Walter is mostly, from what I remember, an abandoned child. I think his parents like neglected him, and he got so deranged he believes that the room is his mother. And once that happened, you know, there was a thing with the 21 sacraments and trying to appease the ritual. I think he was captured, put in jail, killed himself. That was a false sort of well, no, I wouldn't say a false death. That was a release of the spirit to continue 21 sacraments after he left his vessel. So it was never anger because of circumcision. I don't know where people, that's not even implemented in the story. It was because of his neglect and slowly going crazy that he realized that, and plus he picked up the teachings of the cult as well, which also further his lust and need to do 21 sacraments from what I remember. So yeah, that was, you know, again, the Holy Mother is what's important to him. That room is what's important to him. That's why he's crazy, you know. And crazy cultists, it kind of goes hand in hand over I lost two foreskins. It's like, okay. Oh, and the comment is funny. As a circumcised person, I too want to sacrifice people so I can reunite with my hotel room mommy. This guy kind of gets it. Let's go down. The worst theory I've heard: James Sunderland is based on Ronald Reagan, and that Team Silent deliberately put Holocaust references in Silent Hill 2, and that was the backbone of the game. Holocaust references? I'm sorry, sir. I don't know what game you played, but it certainly wasn't Silent Hill 2. You must have been playing something involving, I don't know, the Nazis or whatever. I don't know what you're you're playing. I don't know what the fuck you're playing, like some fucking World War Call of Duty or something. Like, what the fuck is that? And James Sunderland based on Ronald Reagan? This man been watching too much Futurama. I am not a crook. You know, the little Ronald Reagan head, and he's biting people and just. I do remember that. He had an hour-long video on it, which I unfortunately cannot find because it got set to private, which I assume the guy got ratioed because that opinion was absolutely atrocious and he put it to private. Okay, then that was pretty bad. Let's move on to the next one. Ronald Reagan, James Sunderland. It's just, I don't even see the correlation at all. Like, oh, he said that because James was wearing US military badges that this was the correlation to Reagan and Holocaust stuff. What the fuck is he talking? Okay, moving on to the next one. Before I lose my brain already. There was a guy who was talking about how the holes in Silent Hill 2 represent vagina. I'm pretty privy to people saying, and the game is privy to it as well, about the idea of sex and even rape and even phallic symbols representing these monsters. I'll be sure to censor that part because I know people are sensitive to that. But yes, there is sexual manifestations in Silent Hill, but to say that the pits that James jumps into represents Mary's vagina is a little bit too far-fetched. I would say, if anything, the real interpretation is, once again, the bobblehead nurses, with the fact that their heads are bandaged up and they're trying to sort of, they just look sexy. In a sense, they look like they have like stockings on, and people say like that valid theory that I think personally is James was sort of peeping around in the hospital when Mary was sick and terminally ill, and he was looking, and that probably was like, oh, I got this sexual frustration here because I can't do anything because my wife is like about to die. So that one I kind of believe that one, but everything is a vagina in Silent Hill 2? No, absolutely not. They said it represents his descent into madness. I just think that's absolutely false. Let's continue onward. We're making record time here. Jesus Christ. Oof. Let's see. My interpretation of him jumping down the holes, I just think that it's plummeting deeper into, you know, the false reality, because it, you know, it just gets worse and worse as it goes on. And I think the other world comes in that part too. Maybe, I don't remember, but let's go down. Someone said Eileen was never friends or on Henry's side. She was working in secret with Walter the whole time. That theory doesn't make much sense at all. It doesn't, because the idea of Eileen being in the game in the first place is she is something wholesome. I mean, she even stopped, she's so nice and gentle and sweet that, once again, she gave Walter like a teddy bear or a rabbit or something. So she was nice to him at first. It was a manifestation of that kindness, which is why he, you know, she's part of the sacraments. He tried to kill her as well, but the child Walter prevented it somehow. I don't know, I just know that that's kind of the case. And then Eileen is needed to complete the 21 sacraments because, once again, Walter failed once. That's why there's a giant chopping machine where they do chopping and chopping and chopping again when there's like giant cranberry juice at the bottom of it. She tries to walk into it and kill herself because she gets possessed at that point. So her idea is not only being part of an escort mission, but the possession part in the game, because Walter needs her for this purpose, but Henry's not gonna let that happen, or at least in one of the endings he doesn't. In the other, he could be like, fuck it. She never really goes against Henry in the game, and there are times where she is possessed, and I think he will lose health, but that's more of a gameplay mechanic than story. She's not on Walter's side at all. I like, she tries to help the guy because he's a deranged maniac, and that's it. But Eileen's a very nice person, so I've never seen that. She will beat the shit out of people with a purse though, once you finally equip her with stuff, which is funny. Let's see. Oh, the circumcision war. Jesus Christ. Oh man, I'm just scrolling down here. Yeah, that Justin Wang video on the circumcision theory was legendary, man. Foreskin theory. Jesus Christ. I'm still scrolling down. Someone said they thought of an idea of Silent Hill and Kindergarten Cop having a shared universe theory. Well, it's something that the guy made up, which is, it's got to be facetious, right? It's got to be a joke. But I do know that there is Kindergarten Cop references in Silent Hill 1, I believe. I forget, but they do have references, and I don't know. Is the classroom like the same sort of shape and size and blueprint? I forget, but they do lift from that, apparently, according to the trivia. Let's go all the way down. Let's go all the way to more circumcision. This is probably the worst one to date because of just how ridiculous it was, I guess. That's why people are bringing this up constantly. It makes sense. Another annoying theory is the purpose. So when they put Alessa and burn her, and the way they incorporate. So no, I'm just not reading that. They're talking about general plot points of the game. I'm looking for some bad theories. Everything in Silent Hill 2 is sexual and not a representation of James's guilt or grief. I think it could be all of the above for those, really. Not, like I said, I don't agree with everybody saying that every singular thing that James jumps into and when he plunges his hand in a toilet, it represents vagina, but I don't know why people think that. It's just, I do think it does come across with the nurses and Abstract Daddy himself for Angela, not James, for Angela, because, well, kind of know what that thing is already, which I'm not gonna repeat and reiterate. Theories that it's all in the heads of the protagonists. That kind of just goes with some endings, maybe the ones relative to Silent Hill 1 where Harry dies and it's kind of a dream and it's all in his head. That's just a reference to Jacob's Ladder, though, because that's kind of how that movie ended, where the protagonist Jacob, it's all in his head, and this life that he was living where he's with his girlfriend and there's demons in the club. That didn't happen. He was dead. He died in the war. I think that's what that was referring to, is not all in everyone's head. There's very clear and definitive endings in Silent Hill 2, even 3. I will say the endings were clear, where obviously in 3, however, she gets possessed in the bad ending, and then the good one, it's just a good ending without Harry because he's dead. So I think that it's not in everyone's heads, but you can make a case with the first one with the ending where Harry dies. Let's go down. I'm talking about hallucinations. This is just regular stuff. They're talking more about this person's any theory that makes Ito regret joining Twitter. That's actually pretty funny. Okay. The theory that James is looking into the mirror and he's staring at the camera / player in the opening cutscene of Silent Hill 2. I remember this because it is one that Ito called out. I just don't think that was the interpretation at all. I think he's right. Like, you know, it's kind of, I wouldn't say that people shouldn't have probably thought things of that nature if they're intrinsically linked into the game and they're like, oh, well, you know, because sometimes it could be some fourth wall breaking, sure, but in this case it was just incorrect and wrong. And I think it's just what I personally think is that James is just in a state of confusion as to, once again, he's trying to see if this is all just a reality for what's going on, and trying to feel himself and touch himself to feel like there's a bit of humanity still there. That's kind of how I see it as. I could be wrong too, but the reason I say that is because the mission that he's on is fucking outlandish. I got a letter from my dead wife and I was called here to her potentially final resting place of Silent Hill. I'm going to drive there, go to the town and take a pit stop and reminisce over this idea. I must be fucking crazy. Let me film my face to see what's going on. And then there's all the repressed grief and guilt and what the town is manifesting later on. And then he finds out the revelation that he killed Mary. And we know that Silent Hill is a very supernatural town, so obviously it's definitely fucking with people's heads. And that's how I took it as. He's just reminding himself that this is actually about to happen. This is real. And he feels it. So he reassures himself with that touch. And that's kind of what I think of that in the whole process. And I think it was well done. It's a well done scene, honestly. I tried to rationalize that. Maybe it's not so rational, but who knows? Who knows? You know, maybe I'm just as crazy. Let's see. But I don't think it was a fourth wall break looking at the player. That's a little bit too fucking far out there, man. It's like, nah. Let's see. That the Silent Hill community is a toxic clusterfuck of douchebaggery. Ooh. Well, they getting their little pot shots in. I tell you that. You know, I respect that. I respect that, because some people making these theories aren't the most sane, in my opinion, as my last video goes. Let's see. The theory that Silent Hill is conscious and draws people in to process the character's repressed trauma. I don't think it's sentient or anything like that. I think it feeds off of these emotions that people have, especially if they have done some wicked shit, because I think the town feasts off that. But and we seen with Laura, like, it didn't even affect her because she was of pure heart. So I think it does feast off of the, you know, the guilt that people have and the evil in their hearts. And again, Silent Hill is this whole like Native American silent spirits sort of landscape. So I do think that it is a higher echelon of supernatural stuff going on there for certain people that enter the town and the stories behind them. But do I think it's sentient? No. Do I think it's no. I just think it's a supernatural thing, is all things usually is in the series. The fog world theory, the movie created this, is automatically wrong. Which I think I know what people are talking about. A fog world separate from the normal world as another like plane or plateau. Maybe I remember Kojima was almost going to experiment with that theory that there was different planes of existence with Silent Hills, but that never came into fruition. Let's see, let me go down the list. Wait, someone said there's a theory that the closers in Silent Hill 3 represent consumers. Oh, well, I guess they got that from the fact that you find the first closer in a mall in Silent Hill 3, and he's sort of eating someone's face, but I don't know what that has to do with consumers. I just think that it was the first moment where Heather was encountering something that was abnormal, and it happened to take place right in that mall shopping district where that body was getting numbed on. I don't think it was any deeper than that, just to show that something is not right with this certain portion of the game. Let's go down. Mary has a square vagina. Oh my god, that's pretty bad. Oh shit. Okay, I'm scrolling back up now. This is, I'll see if I can find another thread before I finally decided to call it. But this is pretty fun. This is, oh my god. Okay, I found one. Someone said Silent Hill is a character of his own that chooses who enters its domain and works as essentially as a therapist instead of being the residue of Leslie's powers, enabling others to manifest their subconscious. Okay, now I was kind of with it for a minute when they said therapist, though. My brain died as soon as they said that word. Silent Hill is not a fucking therapist. No. They will torment the shit out of you until you learn your ways, and then that's that. Like, what did the therapy part, like, where did that part come in? Huh? Okay, we're gonna sit you right on the casting couch with Lena the Plug, and Adam 22 is gonna come in and he's gonna tell you to fuck my nurse wife with a pipe in her hand, and you're gonna do that shit. You're gonna bend down to this theory. Like, what is people talking about? Therapists? Silent Hill is a therapist, really. The tormenting monsters walking around, James's Punisher with Pyramid Head, therapy. That's the first thing you get, therapy with that. Paging Dr. Fucko, really? Okay, no way. That's just as stupid as the freaking circumcision theory. It's, come on, man. What are people talking about? Oh my god. Okay, I'll take two more. I'll take two more, and then maybe this will be a series where your criticism sucks, Silent Hill theories. I can keep this going. I can keep this going. Ooh, okay. Someone made up theories. Hell no. Yeah, one guy said, I think people saying there's no sexual like sort of symbolism in the game whatsoever. That's also kind of stupid. It exists in ways that you don't want to imagine, and in ways that can kind of come off with some of the characters, but I do think there is some sexual symbolism in some of the enemies and bosses. And the split worm looks like a cock, so there's that. It's just the worst shit ever. All right, let me finish this here. Some more ridiculous Silent Hill theories. I'll do like maybe two more, and that's it. Someone said the umbilical cord in Silent Hill 4 is a reference to a SpongeBob episode called The Secret Box. Wait, Silent Hill 4 came out like 2004, right? I'm just gonna Google this. And when did SpongeBob come out? Oh, it came out in early 1990. May 1st, 1990. 1999. Let's say 1990. I'm sorry about that. 1999. Corrected myself there. So yeah, I don't think there's any correlation really. It's just a coincidence at best. Which, I mean, yeah, most of these theories that people have are gonna boil down to coincidences. I'm not believing that one for a second. Oh my god. I'm reading the rest of this and I have a headache. People had a theory that Heather Mason and Detective Douglas got married after Silent Hill 3, happily ever after. Well, that's creepy because she's a minor and he's 40 years old, so FBI, open up, bang bang bang, shoot that prisoner right there dead with the detective hat, because that's, no, he just willed in some weird EDP ending into Silent Hill 3. What the fuck is wrong with people? What the hell? What? Did he ask for a cupcake or something before he got shot? Like, what the deal? What is the dealio with people? The worst theory I've heard: Silent Hill's god is from Hyrule, with Ganon, Link, and Zelda. The god from Silent Hill is from Hyrule. The skeletal god from Silent Hill 3 is from Hyrule, with Ganon, Link, and Zelda. I'm done. I'm done. That's the end of part 1 of your criticism sucks for Silent Hill theories. Your criticism sucks forever. It sucked for Resident Evil. It sucked for Dead Space. It sucks for Silent Hill. I'm out of here. See you guys later. I'm fucking out. Don't get circumcised. See you later.